gave a grabby guy at the bar a taste of his own medicine. I was out at a club hanging with some girlfriends when a group of guys walked past. My girlfriend looked uncomfortable. I asked what was wrong. She told me one of the guys in the group had grabbed her ass. I asked which guy, and followed them inside. I went right up to the guy in question and asked, "Hey, did you grab my girlfriend's ass?" To which he smirked and responded, "Yeah, so." I didn't even think before I was reaching down to grab him by the balls. Hard. He was screaming while they shouted, "Yeah, you like that? You like being grabbed by strangers." I noticed his friends laughing and video recording, so I went up to one and dramatically tried to make out with him, which he was disgusted by. Security escorted me outside, but they were laughing. They said what I did was hilarious, but he had it handled. They didn't kick me out, but told me it was probably best if I went home for the night. Edit. Y'all are so annoying. Nothing I can say will make you believe my story, so what's the point in? It's frustrating like fuck. I just wanted to share a funny story. If you don't believe it, that's fine. The people who were there know the truth. Scumbag neighbor broke into my vehicle and stole my stuff, so I returned the favor. I rented a duplex in my early 20s. My neighbor was a wannabe gangster type and made the mistake of breaking into my vehicle one night. I had a small SUV with a removable soft top, so the neighbor figured it would be easy pickings to just peel back the top and help himself to my stereo, amplifier, CDs and some other misc stuff. I discovered the break-in early in the morning after it occurred. I knew for certain who the culprit was. We were not in a heavily populated area and my neighbor was well known for thievery. I waited around for him to leave his place, and when the opportunity arose, I went around the back of the house and looked through the bedroom window to find that sure enough my stuff was sitting right on the floor in there. I instinctively tried the window, and as luck would have it, the sash went right up. Bingo! I hopped through and quickly surveyed the items laying around. It occurred to me that I could get some excellent revenge here if I played it right. So rather than just recoup my stuff and wind up in a fight over it, I borrowed a marker and proceeded to write my name on all my stuff and also a few choice items of his just for good measure. I then climbed back out the window and waited. When he finally came back, I called for some police presence and explained to them how my vehicle got robbed, and I knew it was the neighbor due to seeing through the window. We knock on his door and I can still remember the look on his face seeing me and the cop standing there. He was not even close to ready for the encounter and almost certainly had drugs on him, so he was very cooperative given the circumstances. I politely explained that I know he broke into my vehicle and I needed him to return my stuff immediately or I will have to press charges. He went and retrieved my things and I pointed out my name written on them to the officer. I asked about my other stuff while he looked back puzzled and dumbfounded. I rattled off the other couple of choice items of his that I also put my name on earlier. The look on his face while he handed over his stuff to me while the cop was standing there was priceless. Entitled lady tries to force me to leave a public lake, I force her to leave instead. This was a few years ago. I used to work as a detective for a local police department, retired now, and this occurred when I was still employed there. In my life I've always made every attempt to stay on the right side of the law, as I consider hypocrisy one of the worst traits for an officer of the law to have. I owned a nice ski boat, and in my spare time I enjoyed taking my family to the local public Lakido, use the boat and tube, water ski, swim, etc. My kids were ages 12 and 13 at the time, and they really got a kick out of this. They wanted to go nearly every day off I had, all summer long. One day, we were at the lake, and after a few hours, my daughter mentioned she needed to use the bathroom. The lake also had a public swimming beach that had public restrooms, and we would often take bathroom breaks there. We would pull up to shore well away from the marked swimming area, and we'd disembark to use the facilities. One day, as we pulled up, I noticed a lady on a lounge chair, sunbathing on shore near where we pulled the boat up. I stayed about 50 feet from her, still about 250 feet away from the swimming area. As I slowly maneuvered the boat towards shore at idle. As I got close, she stood up and glared at me, while my kids whispered to me that they knew her as a mean lunch lady from their previous elementary school. As I brought the boat up to shore, this woman started yelling very loudly that I was breaking the law. I smiled and as friendly as I could I said, "Really? What law?" She continued yelling, saying that I was driving a motorboat in a swimming area. I pointed to the marked swimming area about 250 feet away and asked, "You mean that swimming area?" To which she replied, "Yes." I told her that I never entered or even got close to the swimming area, and that my boat was right now as close as I got. She said the law prohibits boats from pulling up to any shore. Lol, how do you get in or out of a boat? Swim. And now she was calling her son, the deputy, who was going to get me in trouble. At this point, I was starting to enjoy this a little, because I thought for sure her son, the deputy, would tell his mom that she couldn't stop me from pulling my boat up to shore. I stood nearby, as she calls someone, assuming her son, on her cell. She then reads the person on the phone my boat haul number. It's like a license plate for boats. Then she says, with a smirk on her face, "My son is going to order you from the lake, right now." And what happens next shocked me. This woman calls me by my full name. Then she hands me the phone. Now, I should say, what has just happened, is a clear, very clear, violation of the law. In my state, it's known as a lien violation, and police officers, deputies are very often charged with this crime. I read about it several times a year. Yvonne officer uses his police computer to divulge personal information. Let's say a deputy tells his mom the name of the registered owner of a boat that she is having a disagreement with. For example, it is a crime. No ifs, ands, or buts. Every cop knows this. So as I take the phone, I immediately say, "Who is this?" I hear, "This is Deputy so-and-so of the **** County Sheriff Office," and I immediately interrupt him and say, "Deputy, do you know what a lien violation is?" Several seconds of silence. I say, "Deputy so-and-so," using his real name of course, "Are you still there?" He says, "Yes." So I again say, "Deputy so-and-so, let me ask you again. Do you know what a lien violation is?" He stammers out a reply about boat hull numbers and public records or something. I said, "Nope. That's not what a lien violation is. Since you don't know, do I need to remind your supervisor what a lien violation is?" Again, silence. I then said, "Tell you what. I'm going to hand this phone back to your mother. Then you're going to tell your mother to leave this beach right now. Then we can all forget this ever happened. Understood?" Long silence. "Understood." He does a long exhale and says, "Yeah, okay." I hand the phone back to his mother. She whispers into the phone for a few seconds, then angrily snaps her phone shut. Without making eye contact, she packs up her stuff and is gone. I thought about reporting him anyway, but technically I was the victim. Yet I wasn't feeling victimized at all, lol, so I let it go. Only one other time did I see the lady at the beach again, and as she saw me, she again immediately packed you for stuff and again left. Edit. Not for the ACAB crowd, no point in reading below, your mind is made up. When off duty, I'm a citizen, like it or not. And quite frankly, thank God for that. I've never cared one way or another for the thin blue line stuff, and while on duty, I witnessed, then later reported an officer, and another time a dispatcher breaking the law. For the dispatcher, a misdemeanor lien violation, actually, which I promptly reported both times to my superior. Both were fired, by the way. The officer is still doing federal time as I type this. As a detective, I prosecute Dan officer one time for a felony that started with zero evidence against him. Actually got the guy to confess. I was shocked, only because he should know his right to self-incrimination. He was charged and pled to a felony. I'm proud of that, if you should wonder. I'm sure I've probably had cases involving other officers, even if I'm not remembering it now, but all citizens have rights. Even cop citizens. When off duty, I have a right to not report something that makes me a victim, if I so choose. But now you're a hypocrite. Nope. We can all choose or not. We all get rights, and I will happily prosecute anyone, or otherwise, when I'm truly victimized. I get to make the call as to when I'm victimized. But demanding that I become a victim when I don't want to be? Now who's victimized? And #X200B.